You are Locked On Mavericks POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports Dallas, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Now that's how you get a win. That's how you get it done on the road. Here we go. Welcome into the Locked On Mavs POSTCAST, your home for the best Dallas Mavericks coverage. Not only your team every day, but your team every game, at least for us. My name is Jeff Biggs. Thank you for watching Locked On Sports Dallas, your destination after every single game. You can also find us on the Locked On Mavs podcast feed as well. And don't forget, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. And coming up on our episode here tonight, what a win for the Mavs on the road. 143-133. They outscore the Warriors on the road at the Chase Center. And coming up, what did Luka do to lead the way with another triple-double? We'll tell you about not only the numbers, but what's, I think, significant about it on a couple of different fronts. Not only did Luka have his best game of the season for the Mavs, but Klay Thompson had his best game ever as a Mav so far this season. His best game, and fittingly, it was back at the Chase Center. So good for Klay there on that front. And not only did the Mavs get a win, but this was a historic win on a couple of different fronts. We'll get into that as well. But let's talk about this game tonight. 143-133, the final. And, you know, we were kind of waiting to see the fallout. And after the tough loss in OKC, and that game still kind of bothers me. I just didn't like the way that game ended. I didn't like the way that it played out, and we're not going to dwell on that. But hey, props to the Thunder. They played great. They came out and got a great win. But that was just, I mean, the Mavs have been playing so good. It just didn't seem like this Mavs team like we're seeing. But it's okay. One game, we talked about it quite a bit after that game. I'm not here to get into that. But I couldn't believe it. After all the road games that the Mavs have played of late, I mean, you knew even after that game, the NBA would find a way to get them back on the road for another game. And sure enough, we got, I guess you would call this like a, not officially, but because both the Mavs and the Warriors were eliminated, it was like almost like a cup consolation game, if you will, right? Because they had to make in the extra game into the schedule, the 82nd game. So of course the Mavs, sure they played there earlier, but why? Let's just make the Mavs go on the road again. And so sure enough, so the Mavs have, why not, right? They've had this just incredible stretch of 13 games and 13 of 17 on the road. They've basically been on the road for a month and a half. We talked about it. I don't ever remember seeing a team have 4 one-game homestands. I'm repeating myself. But with that said, hey, you know what? They still had to, they got back from a tough loss against the Thunder, right? You get back from that, get a couple of days at home, and then you have to go back out, fly up, I should say, up to California, fly out there last night for the game tonight, quick 1-game road trip. Then thankfully the Mavs are finally going to come back and they're going to have a nice homestand where they're going to be home actually with consecutive games, and they're going to be home for almost 2 weeks. So finally, that's going to be a good thing, I think, for the Mavs on many, many fronts. But with that said, still had to show up. You still had to get this game. And even though the Warriors are slipping, look, they play, they can shoot, as we saw tonight. They can play well in that building. Steph is still Steph. He can go nuts at any point. And so for the Mavs to come in the way that they did tonight and to make the first 9 shots to really set the tone. Luka, I thought, really set the tone early as well on his way to his best game of the season, his best performance of the season. Not only was it great, I mean, the Mavs had their best first half of the season, 81 points. It was 81-74 at halftime, but they scored 46 in the first half. And if you're the Mavs and you score 46 in the first quarter on the road, you got to win that game. So I just, before we get into it, I just want to make it clear that not only was it a good win and an impressive win, right? But it's one you got to win. You start like that, you play well. You're coming off a tough loss against the Thunder. You don't want to let that, when you get that kind of a start and you play that well and you get 81 in the first half, that would have been really bad to let that game get away. So to me, that's just a little side note in this, but the fact that the Mavs were able to just keep their foot on the gas, finish, take care of business, 46 in the first quarter, I should say. Kind of a tough finish to the third quarter coming out of the locker room. They again had some couple of miscues down the stretch at the end of the third. The Warriors finished on a 6-0 run, but they weathered that, came back, outscored the Warriors in the fourth, and were able to pull away and get the job done, 143 to 133 the final. So very good. Again, I know this is not the Warriors of a few years ago, but considering they lost a tough one, did the Mavs in their first meeting last month, to come back again, this would have easily been a game where the Mavs could have been, oh man, you know what? We were spent, we've been traveling, we've been playing all these road games. We just had a tough game in Oklahoma City. If the Mavs would have let up, or if the Mavs would have come into this game tonight flat, right? I mean, we would have understood. We're like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I get it. Hey, just a tough game. They're flat. They're tired. Tough loss against the Thunder, but then they're going to go back home and play well. But no, the Mavs didn't do that. I mean, they came out. I don't know. I don't know if they'll get off to a better start the rest of the season. I mean, 9 straight shots to start the game, 46 points in the first quarter. That's really good, to say the least. That's a really, really excellent start, excellent way to set the tone. And very quietly, I want to make this clear. I mean, you look at Luka Doncic tonight, okay? Had a season high, 45 points, right? He had 40 in the loss to Phoenix. Was that game number 2, I think it was. But 45 points, 11 rebounds, 13 assists for Luka, who led the way, all right? 3, it's his third triple-double in the last 4 games, okay? I mean, that's very quietly, because remember Luka kind of just didn't quite seem like Luka yet to start the season, right? And then he missed a few games with the groin injury and the ankle injury, and he was just kind of nicked up and he didn't play. And we were just kind of like, okay, when are we going to see Luka play at Luka's level, right? And now all of a sudden, since he's come back from that little injury, I mean, he's not only playing at a different level, but I mean, every game is just getting better and better and better. And it's not even the numbers, it's not even the stats. I mean, you can see it yourself, just the way that he's playing the game and attacking the game and mentally going about it and picking his spots and what he's doing just very quietly. You just see that he's starting to elevate himself to a different level where you can just clearly see he's at a different place than everybody else on the floor. and it's really cool to watch, man. I mean, it's really special, and it's really cool to see. And again, I've said it before, that this whole team, the way that they're playing together and the way that they just continue to grow and come together, can't say enough. Even though, I've wrapped the NBA for the schedule, and having the Mavs play 13 and 17 on the road, I mean, what a blessing in disguise this has been for this group and this unit. And how nice is it going to be when they're going to have some home stands where they can, and it seems so silly, right? I mean, we're talking about this like it's some big foreign thing when it's the norm. I mean, every team has home stands. Every team gets to play consecutive games at home, but it seems like with this Mavs team, they have 4 consecutive 1-game home stands. I mean, that is just incredible. So I like where I feel like very quietly, this team is just incrementally, just step by step, getting up. Again, I'm going to stand by what I said the other night. I think there's a lot of good things that they can learn from the Oklahoma City game the other night. Not just because they lost, but just about different ways that they can see themselves, through what the Thunder did, and what they can do to improve on that as well. So really, really good stuff. And again, I just love the way that Luka came out and set the tone. Love the way that Klay played, and we're going to talk more about him in a minute. Kyrie, just a very quiet, methodical 21. We haven't seen Kyrie really go nuts. I know he had a couple of big games when Luka was out, but we're still kind of waiting to see him really take over a game. But right now, everything's flowing. There were a couple other selfless moments that stood out to me in this game tonight. Great to have PJ Washington back. He wasn't dominant per se, but I mean, considering he's been out, ended up with 13 points in 35 minutes. Didn't feel like he was a major factor in the game, but that's because there were so many big threes going down. But very quietly, PJ was a part of it. Good to see him back out there. And I thought Quentin Grimes just really had one of his better games coming off the bench tonight, with 14 points, 19 minutes, but he knocked down 4 threes, had one that should have counted that they took away. But I thought he was a very, very key contributor coming off the bench in the second half and helped the Mavs kind of keep their game going. I thought Daniel Gafford too didn't do a lot in the first half, was kind of quiet, but ended up with almost a double-double, 10 and 9 in 17 minutes. Didn't play the 30 minutes that Derek played, but still had some big moments, and just he's such a great. What I love about Gafford is just the fact that when you need something inside, when you need to kind of change things up a little bit, but you need a basket down low that you can count on. Gafford always seems to be in the right place at the right time, coming through and helping this team. So just a lot of good things. And I'm just as good to see them beat this team, and to beat this team convincingly. Again, on the road, coming off a tough loss, playing the cup game, going back home, having to fly right back out for one game. All kinds of mental things there that you could have used, and instead this team came out, stepped it up, handled their business, and did it convincingly with 143 points. So very, very impressive win for the Mavs. When we come back, I want to talk about Klay Thompson and the night that he has, and also about the history. Not only did the Mavs get a win, but it was a historic win. We'll tell you why when we come back. But this is the Locked On Mavs postcast, 143-133, the final. We're also going to get into some of your comments as well, so feel free to jump in. That's what we're here for. We're with you after every game, and that's what we want. We want to get you involved and let you give your input as well. We'll get into that as well. This is the Locked On Mavs postcast. All right, want to tell you about a couple of different things here. Number one, not only did the Mavs get a big win tonight, but uh, Prize Picks. All right, we've talked about them before, and I think it's worth mentioning. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. Now, you just pick more or less on at least two players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. So you run your game all season long on Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Make your holidays bigger and brighter with Prize Picks, the best place to get real money action while watching your favorite sports. You can also now win up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks. And Prize Picks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. Join now because this holiday season, Prize Picks is giving away 2 free picks in December, and they're giving away $30+ million in rewards during Pixmas. So download the app today and use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. And today's episode also brought to you by Rocket RX. If you're ready to boost your confidence and take control in the bedroom, Rocket RX has the solution. Imagine feeling more prepared and performing at your best. Rocket RX makes it simple and stress-free. Rocket RX offers FDA-approved treatments for erectile dysfunction at a lower cost than branded alternatives. No more uncomfortable doctor visits or pharmacy trips. Everything is delivered straight to your door in discreet, plain packaging. And with our Rocket RX, you'll get trusted care from a real U.S. clinical team. Complete a quick 100% online consultation, and you could get your free prescription today. Visit rocketrx.com to get started. It only takes 2 minutes. Right now, our listeners can get 40% off your first order when you use code LOCKEDONNBA. That's rocketrx.com, code LOCKEDONNBA for 40% off your first order. Terms and conditions apply. Rocket RX, better sex, made simple. All right, welcome back to the Locked On Mavs POSTCAST. Jeff Biggs, great to be with you. Hope you're having a great weekend, and what a nice way to wrap up. A lot of good football again today, this weekend, but what a great way to wrap up the weekend with a huge Mavs win on the road, 143 to 133, as the Mavs take down the Warriors in the Chase Center. And what a nice game for Klay. 29 points, his season high with the Mavs, ended up knocking down 9 of 14, including 7 3-pointers for Klay. And he finished with also a couple of steals, 4 assists, and 5 rebounds. And there was one play in the fourth quarter that I think says a lot, not only about Klay, but about this team. It was in the fourth quarter, kind of still the game, the Warriors would not go away. And this just, goes back to what I say, that the Mavs are now one of those teams where when they come into town, when Luka and Kyrie and even Klay, when other team, obviously the Warriors wanted to beat Klay and they wanted to beat the Mavs, that's a given. But I'm saying generally around the league, the Mavs are now one of those teams where opposing teams get jacked up to play them and want to beat them. And there was a moment, though, in the fourth quarter where Klay off the dribble had the opportunity. I mean, if he wanted to be selfish, if he wanted to be, he was already kind of around his season high, and he thought, yeah, you know what, I want to get more points. I want to pad my stats a little bit. He could have done that, but instead, at the last second, he passed off underneath to Daniel Gafford, who dunked it home and got the basket. And I just a little thing, you probably won't even think twice about it. But I think that just goes to show you not only the type of character and person that Klay is, but I think just the way that this group, the unselfishness that this group has, and the way that they play together, and the way that they're really playing and coming together and growing together as a team. And it's a beautiful thing, man. It's fun to watch, and I think it just was just a little snippet tonight, but you can clearly see Klay without a doubt. I mean, he's getting more comfortable, and I think they even talked about it during the TV broadcast that sometimes you press a little bit and you're thinking about it and you're trying a little bit too hard, but then once you kind of break through a little bit and then you have that big game, then all of a sudden that weight is gone and you're free and you can just play your game. The other thing too that I think is important, very very subtly, was tonight the starting lineup for Jason Kidd. PJ Washington, who was back, Derek Lively, Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic, and Klay Thompson. Coming into tonight, that starting lineup was a perfect 4-0. Make that now 5-0. Okay, that tells you a lot. That tells you something. That just shows you what the these first first 26 games or so have been like for this team, with all the illness and the injuries and the sickness and everything else. But the fact that this group, I think this team is starting to come together and really starting to define the roles. Off the bench tonight, a little different. Omax got in there. Kessler Edwards got in there for about a minute. So did Dwight Powell. And then he had Gafford and Dinwiddie and Quentin Grimes, and Gortman got in for a minute, at the very end. But I think for the most part, we're seeing the rotation and seeing where this team is, where things are going to fall into place. Spencer Dinwiddie did not score tonight. Wasn't really, was not, and that's another great example. It just was not his night. The flow was not there. He ended up playing 21 minutes for Dinwiddie. Did take 2 shots, missed them both, missed a 3, did have 4 assists and a few rebounds, did Dinwiddie. But what I like about that is he didn't force it, wasn't trying to be a hero, wasn't trying to be like, hey man, this is Dinwiddie time. I don't get a lot of chance. I only come in certain times, so when I come in, I got to score. He just came in, tried to be an asset. The shot wasn't there, and wasn't his night for the offense, and so he let it go. And I guarantee you, on this homestand, that we'll see him score again. But again, just another little snippet there of the the unselfishness of this team and kind of the way that they're balling out right now. So I like that. Aside from that, I like the way though that the rotation is kind of setting itself up, and I think that's going to be, it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to, the Mavs are going to go back home. They're going to have 4-game homestand. They're going to have this little back-to-back home games with the Clippers. I'm not really crazy about that. I understand the NBA does that because they want to help teams cut back on travel, but I prefer, for example, a team in the West like the Clippers that you're going to see twice at home, right? I'd rather see them once early in the season and then once later in the season. That way, in case, if there's injuries or they make a trade, or who, you just get to see spread out. I'm not crazy about playing the same team consecutively. I get it. I understand it. Just my own little thing, but very quietly, James Harden is doing his thing, and so that'll be good. That'll be a fun little homestand. Got the Blazers coming in, the T-Wolves on Christmas. But like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing this Mavs team get to spend some time at home. Maybe they'll get in a practice or two, which will be huge. I can't stress enough, as somebody that has traveled as a beat reporter, once the season gets going, man, it is so hard between the injuries and the travel. It's just really, really hard to get in good practice times. It's tough. Actually, that's why the playoffs are kind of good in that sense, in that you actually get some, not a lot of practice time in the playoffs, because guys need to rest after those games, but you still have a little bit of downtime in between. But it's going to be good. I'm excited to see what this team can do, how they can grow, see what little things that they can tweak and improve upon and get better. So looking forward to that. All right, when we come back, I told you that not only was this a Mavs win, but a historic win, and I'll tell you why. And we'll have our final thoughts and our final segment coming up on the Locked On Mavs postcast on a Sunday night. All right, well, we mentioned this at the open, and I'm going to do so again, because that's what I do. That's what I'm here for, right? And that is to let you know that it's time to get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL, all in one place. Got a lot of games coming up over the next week or so. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, our final segment here on the Locked On Mavs postcast. Don't forget, Nick Anstedt and his outstanding crew, Isaac, slightly biased. They're going to be doing their thing. They've had a lot of great content, a lot of stuff going on, talking about the West and where things stand in the NBA. What about the trade deadline, and what about some moves? I mean, everything you need to know. They keep you covered during the week. Plus, Nick does his own show after the games as well with the crew. So they'll be coming up here. If they haven't started already, they'll be coming up here in just a bit. So we are just happy to be following in in Nick's success. What a great job he has done just building up our Mavs coverage, and props to him. And so that's definitely worth your time during the week to keep connected with everything that they're doing there. Now, we mentioned the historic aspect. It just shows you how the game has changed and how the game has grown. But in the game tonight, the Mavs win 143-133. The Mavs were 21 of 41 from beyond the three-point line. Okay, the 18 threes for the first half for the Mavs, that tied the NBA record. Now the Warriors tonight ended up knocking down 27 of 54. So between the Warriors 27 makes and the Mavs 21, that's 48. That is a new NBA record for three-pointers made in a game. So very impressive, and it just shows you. And I'm sure we'll probably a good chance we'll see that record broken at some point this season. Wouldn't surprise me at all. And one other note also about Luka's triple-double. Again, third triple-double in the last 4 games. Season high for Luka, 45 tonight. But that was, for Luka, his 48th 30-point triple-double. All right, so he's had 48 of his triple-doubles have had 30 points or more, and he tied Russ for second. A long way to go to get to Oscar Robertson, but he's going to pass Russ and take over sole possession of that, but that's some elite company there. 48 30-point triple doubles for Luka, and again, great start tonight. He was feeling it, and I can't stress enough just how you can just see his game and him, just the way that he carries himself, just the way that he's playing. He has been better and better and better, and I'm excited. I'm excited to just for the Mavs to get back at home, have some games at home, kind of finish up the year. The Cup's over with. Got the All-Star break will be here, and then before you know it, they're going to be in the second half of the season, and the goal is just getting better and better and better before the playoffs. And I'll say this: I look, every team is different, right? Every culture is different. But I'll use an example. The three-peat Shaq and Kobe Lakers, I mean, as great as they were and as dominant as they were, I mean, they literally could flip a switch beginning of April. Like you get to April, right? In the end of the regular season, usually in April, you have like, I don't know, 13 to 15, 16 games total. I mean, they could literally get to April and flip a switch and get their game to playoff level, championship level, just like that. Now, I'm not saying everybody can do that, but what I'm saying is with Luka, where he's at, with Kyrie and his experience, and of course we know that the run that this team went on a year ago. Again, this is not about making the playoffs for this team. This is about not about making the final. This is about getting back to the finals and winning it. That's the goal. That's the objective. That's what this season is about. That's what all this is about the rest of the way. And so I think with that said, with the injuries, with the travel, 13 games and 17 games, everything else, for the Mavs to be sitting at 17-9, 143 to 133 the final. I think they're in a really good place here as they get ready to head back home, and I think there's a lot to be excited for. So enjoy the next couple of days. Enjoy this homestand coming up. If you get a chance, get out there, go see a game when you can. I will be back with you on Thursday night. I know Nick and the crew, they'll be with you throughout the week as well. They'll be on tonight, and they'll be back with you after the game. But I'll be with you following game number 1 with the Beard and the Clips coming up on Thursday night. I don't know where all of our comment crew is. We were getting a nice, good flow of people that were checking in with comments and weighing in and giving their thoughts and opinions. And I don't know. Sometimes, I have to say, sometimes when teams are playing well or they're winning, the comments get quiet. Sometimes, and that's not a criticism. It just sometimes, there's a lot more to say. There's a lot more to point out and to be critical of when things are going bad. So I understand that, but I still love to hear from you guys. And again, the Mavs very quietly not only win tonight, but they have won 12 of their last 14. So that's a good clip. That's a good space to be in right now. Just kind of quietly under the radar. Let everybody talk about the Thunder. Excuse me. Let everybody talk about Boston, and just let the Mavs continue to do their thing. All right, that's going to do it. Hey, thank you. Wait, we got a couple. See? Ask and you shall receive. Okay, there we go. Ryan, there you go. Thank you, my man. Yeah, Klay looked great. He did. Didn't he look good? Seriously, didn't he? I mean, a few of the, I mean, all those shots to me, every time he shoots the ball, it's just pretty to watch. I mean, he's so smooth, right? It just looks so good, the ball leaving his hands. But there were a handful tonight that were clutch Klay shots. I mean, they were money, like game on the line, dagger type of Klay shots. And we haven't seen a ton of those yet from Klay so far this season with the Mavs. It just hasn't worked out that way. But I believe with all my heart, those shots are going to be there. Those shots are going to come, and those shots are going to go down. But Ryan, thanks for jumping in, my man. Appreciate you. All right, that is going to do it for real. But hey, have a good start to your week, and look forward to being with you. For those of you that watch and support, I appreciate it from the heart. This is my first season with this. Done a lot of stuff my whole career in radio, a little bit of TV, but primarily radio. So this is new, but I'm loving this team, and it's even better when you guys are a part of it. So thank you for the support, and let's enjoy this season, enjoy the ride, and looking forward to seeing what this team can get done. Talk to you Thursday night. Mavs get the win tonight, 143-133. They beat the Warriors on the road.